and we're back with City Council Majority Leader Joel Rivera. It's a pleasure having you on the program, really is. We were finding out a lot about your position, your function, but tell us a little bit about the issues. What are the upcoming issues for the Bronx? If you were running for borough president, or when Ruben Diaz does run, what are the issues that he will be talking about, you expect?
I mean, I think the economy is the biggest issue right now. You read about it every single day in the newspapers, the bonuses that are going out, the unemployment levels going up, the divestment of, different properties here in the Bronx and the city of New York as a whole because of the national economy. And I think that the issue that's on all of our plates, the borough president's plate, the city council's plate, the mayor's plate, the governor, and the state electeds, is how can we get our hands around, the economy to make sure that we can keep Bronxites working and making sure that it's a dignified job, not just a minimum wage job, but a job that can actually ensure that they can pay the rents that are going up every single year. They're talking about the bus and train fare going up. We need real jobs. And I think the role of us as elected officials is seeing how can we get those.
And this federal money that's coming down now, all these stimulus packages that are being approved, do you have a breakdown already for how much is coming to New York and how much is coming to the Bronx and how it will be used in the Bronx?
Yeah, what we're doing now in City Hall, and today we had a budget hearing. We have budget hearings taking place every single day. We're looking at the economic stimulus package. We're looking at, what the state is going to do in terms of that, because the way it operates is the federal government's going to allocate the funding to the state of New York and then distribute to the city of New York. The state budget has not been finalized yet. They're still up there negotiating. So my father and my sister are actually up there in Albany.
My sister's also a state
assemblywoman. And they're up there really, tackling the issues and, trying to bring back, the resources to our community. And we're analyzing what does that mean. But it's pretty, good information that we're getting. We're getting information that they're going to be helping with our Medicaid, and ensuring that, Medicaid bills can be paid, making sure that our infrastructure, our roads can be paved, and our highways.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about. Do we know of any, is there like, the very popular term nowadays is shovel-ready.
Yeah,
do we have shovel-ready projects in the Bronx that can be funded immediately so that people can get to work and we can get better roads and better bridges?
No, we have a ton of them. The thing is, we need the money. So the old slogan is, show us the money. We need the state of New York to really come through at this point and make sure that we can have the money to continue building, affordable housing, to continue investing in our universities. Here, Bronx Community College hosts those. We really invested a lot of money over the past couple of years to make sure that we can have a state-of-the-art, facilities here in the Bronx so that, people can get their higher education. And we want to make sure that the state continues in their function to fund our community system, and we're doing our part within City Hall. But also, we have to put a face to what the budget actually means. When they start slashing funding to hospitals, I'm talking about the state.
Yeah.
What that means jobs. That means quality of health care. That means that, a person now who would normally have to wait 3 months to get a mammogram test now may have to wait 6 months. And that time frame is detrimental to a person's life. A child who used to be able to go to his public school and get dental care, now because the city of New York is looking to cut the dental care program in the public schools, now that child may not get dental care. And those are the things that we're tackling on a day-to-day basis. How can we put a face, to the city's budget and the state budget? And that's what I think our job is. So, the next borough president, the city council members, the state elected officials, again, I think now's the time. Put politics aside and do what's right for the community and make sure that we can deliver the resources for our neighborhoods. Because at the end of the day, my father taught me well and my mother taught me well. It's not about us. It's not about Joe Rivera. It's not about Jose Rivera. It's about the community. And at the end of the day, we have been given a great opportunity, to be elected officials. But with that opportunity comes responsibility. And the responsibility is to make sure that we do our jobs with our head up high and do what we need to do for our neighborhoods.
A lot of people are very apathetic about politicians. Oh, they're all the same. Yeah. They get there, we vote for them, they don't do anything. What do you tell them when you face people?
It's unfortunate. We get that all the time. And, when we look back at Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic, you see the voting population so high. 90% of the people come out to vote. But when you talk about New York City or the Bronx, the voting population is so low. And we try to find out what is it that keeps people away from the polls. And we don't have an answer to that.
For
All I
years
can
they've been
say, I
trying to
mean,
find that
we've been
out,
trying
yeah.
to analyze this. And one woman said the other day, why don't we just make it mandatory that everybody votes? And I said, everybody does vote. If they don't go to the polls, they have a vote of lack of confidence
No,
in
maybe
their government.
make it on a Sunday like
Yeah.
they do in Latin American countries where people are off. There
Exactly.
are all kinds of ideas being tossed around, but nothing ever happens.
But I think it's our job to motivate the population to come out and vote. Let's give everybody a reason. What is it that I am doing to get the vote of the people in my neighborhood? And I got to get my message out there. I got to show them about the thousands of units of affordable housing that we've been able to create within the 15 council district, the science
Where is
labs
your
and
district? Tell
I
us.
cover the East Tremont, West Farms, Fordham Road, Grand Concourse section of the Bronx, a little
And
bit
in
of
that
Pelham
section,
Parkway.
specifically in that section, what are the key issues that you're concerned about? Housing.
Housing
you keep
is
saying housing,
no,
right?
that is. I mean, I probably go every week. I take a tour of a building within my district that's either dilapidated, falling apart. The rents are too high. There's illegal evictions taking place, and these are some of the issues that we face on a day-to-day basis. In my district office. Besides that, like you mentioned, employment is a major factor. People want to make sure that they can get a job, and jobs are scarce nowadays. So we need to make sure that we can cut the red tape, navigate the bureaucracy, and get the jobs to the people. And that means that if there's a shovel-ready project, like you stated, we got to make sure the money's there. We have a $60 billion budget. What that means is we're not broke. Money is being spent. We got to make sure that it's spent in the right places.
Which is what President Obama is doing nowadays.
Exactly.
He's basically reallocating how the federal government spends its money.
Exactly.
Big time.
Exactly.
So why can't Bloomberg do it too?
I think, we have so much bureaucracy in the city of New York. I mean, we have so many checks and balances, and we all struggle to make sure we can get a piece of that pie for our community and our neighborhoods. I think the mayor is attempting to do so. But what I want to see in my community is we need to develop a community center in the old Bainbridge Library so that our kids can have a safe place to go play. Something simple like that. We need to make sure that, the schools, the parents are being engaged and involved in the education of their children. And we need to make sure that the money is being diverted in the places that need it most. Not just what makes sense politically, but what makes sense to make our city function and what makes sense for our community.
One last thing that I want to touch on is term limits.
Yes.
Where did you stand on that when the mayor was pushing to go on for a third term? And what does it mean in terms of Bronx elected officials?
It means that people have choice. When my father was a city council member and the term limit issue was being brought up to the polls, the 15th council district voted in support of the elected officials and said, we want to have the ability to vote for whoever we want to. They were anti-term limits. And the sentiment that we got from the community is that people want to have a democratic process. And the only true democracy that you have is the ability to go into a polling booth and vote for whoever you want. It's called natural term limits. I am, fundamentally against the term limit concept because it takes democracy out of the people's hands. And I believe the voters should ultimately have the final decision on who should be their elected official, not some bureaucratic, thing created to stifle democracy.
Got it. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure having you on the program. I hope you come back. And,
Thank you, definitely.
And the reason why I say that is because you should know that this program is out there for the community.
Yes.
We try to bring in elected officials. We try to bring community organizations. This is a community service program. So what we need from people like you is to go out there and tell all your other fellow politicians, you should go on the Bronx Journal. The students at Lehman College are doing a TV show that's helping the community. So will you do that for us?
Of course, I'll be your advocate.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
And we'll come and celebrate the new studios.
As soon as the new newsroom is open, which will be very, very soon, you're going to be invited to the party. That's
Perfect.
for sure.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
be back very soon with another segment. Actually, it was two of my students. Two of my students are going to be talking to two Lehman College teams, the men's basketball team and the track team. They both just won major championship when they come back.